Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Check out our large assortment of logo merch and our lifestyle collection as well. Just head over to abvnetwork.com and click on shop. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we will talk to Luke Otero about his bourbon journey. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guest, Kerry Moynihan. I'm so sorry, Kerry.
Yeah, you did it right on her show.
I know, I said it right too, and then I just second-guessed myself there. Luke Otero and Phil Collin are also joining us.
Hey, gang, what's up,
everyone?
Hello.
Hey, greetings.
Hello.
We get to learn about Luke's bourbon journey. That should be fun. But before we get to that, Luke, you said there's something you wanted to talk about. What is that?
Yeah, everybody. I'm a big fan of Shark Tank, and I don't know if you guys are.
Yeah, me too.
But it really doesn't matter because this is what Small Talk's all about, and I got it. So
okay. All right. I should be in tune with it. I love that.
Fair enough.
So if you had to pitch something to the Sharks,
okay,
what would it be?
Okay.
And I guess the second part of it, who would you want to partner up as a Shark?
Wow.
I don't know what product I would pitch.
I don't know what product I'd pitch either, but if Robert is still a Shark, because I know sometimes they switch out.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great guy. I worked with him on Dancing with the Stars, and I would definitely pick him.
Really? Robert?
Yeah.
I would pick Cuban. I mean, Cuban's, he's got the money. He's got the connections. To me, it's all about Cuban. That's what everybody wants. And then it's when he's out, then it's like, oh, well, who else is left here?
Exactly right.
I would like to work with Mark Cuban, but I think Lori would be the better pick to get in your product moved and sold and
Lori's
and
terrible.
make some money.
No, I'd rather have
money.
Barbara. Barbara's great. Yeah.
Which one is the lady with the short hair?
Barbara Cochran.
Yeah, I like her. Yeah, she's good.
I like that. I like her.
Hands-on. Lori is terrible. I feel like she is. Do you have a patent? Because then she wants to take the patent and claim she has it. No, Lori's terrible. I don't like Lori. No.
It's Phil's pick. That's Phil's decision.
Good. Phil and I are going for the same shark. So
I always think about Mensch on a Bench when it comes to the show, because that's where Mensch on a Bench came from. Like he was the elf on the shelf turned Jewish. And it's so funny to me how huge that got.
Yeah.
I have a Ring doorbell. I think that was a Shark Tank innovation.
Was it? Oh, I love my Ring.
I think so. It's owned by Google now, but I think they came up with that.
I always think about Scrub Daddy, and they didn't take it. Now Scrub Daddy's a big brand.
What is that?
I thought Lori took Scrub Daddy.
No, they never. I don't think they actually ever took it.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think they did.
That's the one with like the smiley face thing, right?
Did they actually take that one on?
Yeah. That's a Lori thing. That's like one of the most successful ones in the history of the show.
Lori.
It's a big
Lori. I give you credit there. Lori.
I think about the Squatty Potty because it's insane.
Squatty Potty.
And they've let people on the TV show talk about if you squat while you poop, you'll be a healthier individual.
Yeah.
That product's been around for, I mean, I heard it, on Stern for years, and then it goes on there. So I think a lot of these go on there, not because they want a deal. They just want the boost that you get.
Oh, probably.
Right? Yeah.
But you know the secret behind it, don't you?
What?
They've since changed. It's not really a secret. It's kind of an open secret. They've since changed this because they had trouble attracting entrepreneurs. But just by appearing on the show, you surrender something like 2% of your company to the producers.
No.
Oh, no.
That's wrong.
Completely true.
That's
100% true. Nope.
That's 100% false.
But
100%
what
false.
was this?
That was initially included in there, and it was kicked out because they
Isn't that what I said? I said they've stopped doing it because they had trouble
they stopped
attracting talent. But for a long time,
I thought you said they're doing that.
if you pitch and even if no one takes it, the show owns and that was partially done so you couldn't just get the floor time and have no interest in attracting a buyer. Oh man, Mark Cuban gets hot under the collar if he thinks you're not interested in getting a buyer and you're just exploiting TV time. He'll throw stuff at you.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about our products, right?
Oh right.
Sure, if you got something.
That's what Luke wants. Right?
Yeah, Neely, let's get your stuff up there.
I don't have a product yet, but I know what this now. Don't judge me for this, but I know what product I would be able to push, and I could probably make it better in some way, although it's been made numerous times for a long time. But if there's one thing I am passionate about, other than bourbon, it's bidets. Very, very passionate about bidets. And I think that if there was a product that I could maybe somehow improve, it'd maybe be that. I'm sure they've probably already been improved as much as they could be. But I could talk about those all day long.
Let me ask you, the toilet paper shortage of 2020, did that affect you guys as badly as it affected us? Because I know so many people here in Los Angeles that got those because they didn't have enough toilet paper.
What shortage?
You guys didn't have the 2020
bidets.
We had it, but she had.
Not if you got a bidet. There's no shortage if you have.
Yeah. So I have several friends. I went to my friend's house a couple weeks ago to watch 1883. Great show, by the way. And I walked into her bathroom. I said, "What's this water line hooked up to your toilet?" She goes, "Oh yeah, I got a bidet during 2020 shortage of toilet paper." And I have a couple other friends that swear by them now. And I said,
"Here's the thing. Okay, here's the pitch. If I walked up to you and I had poop on my hand and I wiped it on your arm, would you just be like, ew, gross, and grab a paper towel and wipe it off dryly? Or would you go and wash your arm?
I'd wash it. Yeah, I'd wash it. But here, let me tell you this.
That's all I got to say to sell a bidet. I mean,
well, let me put it this way. When I was 14. When I was 14, went to Hawaii with the family. We rented a condo, and first of all, the bathroom in this condo was bigger than any other room in the entire condo. It was ginormous. It had a spa in one, like a hot tub and a sauna room, and it had a toilet room with the toilet and a bidet. And I was 14. I was like, what is this thing? And I said, oh my God, is this like on Crocodile Dundee where they had
there you
go. So I tried it. Let me tell you, that water pressure, I said, why do people do this? That hurt.
Yeah.
And that's probably where I would improve the bidet.
There you go.
A very nice ease up into what's happening, because it's always terrifying. Also, maybe some way to make it so there's a sensor so that if you just turn it on because you don't know what it is, it doesn't spray you in the face.
Right.
Because that can happen. It's happened at my house. Not to me. It did happen to me once. The first time I hooked up my bidet when I didn't live in Kentucky, and I was like, I think it's hooked up, right? Turn it on, straight to the face. Yeah, not fun. But also people think they're expensive. You can get them for $100 at Lowe's. It's just a toilet seat that you switch out, and it's very easy to do.
This episode of the Bourbon Daily brought to you by bidets in general.
Buy the bidets from Lowe's.
At Lowe's.
By bidets. Interesting.
Yeah.
Bidet Council of America.
Does anyone else have a product they want to pitch?
I'm drawing a blank of what I think the world needs that I could offer.
The products I want to do are not anything tangible. That would be,
so Luke, we'll throw it back to Luke. He asked the question. He's got to have something. So what do you got? And what shark do you want?
It goes to, and Beka and I can appreciate this because we're dealing with it, is the glass shortage, the bottle shortage. So, and I haven't figured it out yet, but if I could figure out something that we could recycle these bottles, get them to a center that they can be reused or put on the market for companies like Beka's that said, can I buy these? They've been sterilized. All you got to do is get the right cork, this, that, and the other. And I know there's a lot of other mechanisms that have to go into place, but it's a recycling project, and I would like to partner up with Mr. Wonderful Kevin. That's because
Kevin, yeah, he's good.
He would figure it out.
That's a good
I
one,
think he's
Luke.
smart.
If you could like strip off the stickers really easily, sanitize them, clean them so that they're good to just use again instead of us keep on buying them and people throwing them away all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd
And
be
what
fantastic.
made me think of this is one of our wines that we bring in from the Willamette Valley. We can't get it anymore because they're out of their bottle. They can't get that glass for that bottle. And so,
Maybe we should think of some sort of a program that maybe
hey, this was
government
my program, Kerry.
subsidized.
Come on.
That we can send. I mean, I have all these lovely bottles that I get from, all these distilleries when I do these shows, and I've displayed so many, like I have no other room to put any more bottles. And also people think I'm becoming an alcoholic, but so I would love to take some of these bottles and send them back to the distillery to be used again.
Unfortunately, we can't.
I know.
That's the shitty part is you can't reuse them.
I know. That's why I wish that the government would do something about that to be able to sanitize.
Well, Luke's got it figured out. So
Yeah,
let
I
him go.
did this.
Let him get his deal with
We changed the law.
Let him get his deal with Kevin. He'll get it
There we
done.
go.
Then we go change the law. Phil, we get a patent, and we get
Lori will take it. Lori will take your patent.
and there we go.
Becca, what shark do you want? What shark do you need? For your bidet.
Who's the short-haired lady? I don't know.
Barbara
Barbara.
Cochran.
Barbara's good. She'd be very helpful. We all picked a different shark, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So there you have it.
there you have it. There you go.
Like
We all have our own shark.
We all have our own shark, and we'll see who's the most successful.
Me for sure.
We'll check back a follow-up show in 1 year. All right. It is now time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Phil Collin, the irreverent Phil Collin.
Yes.
Always doing his material. Quit doing his impressions. And now he's relying on his jokes, which I think he needs to go back to being a bad impression guy.
It's like
Phil, I like your jokes and I like your impressions, Phil.
Thank you.
Just
And
so you know.
And you are the average ABV Network listener, so I'm sure there's thousands enjoy a celebration whenever impressions break up. Tonight, we'll be enjoying the baker, the candlestick
Bakers.
maker, the butcher, just the regular bakers here from our friends.
There we go.
Oh, so sad.
No, that was decent. That was one of your better efforts.
That's pretty good.
That was one of your better efforts. I'll go next. I've got Cream of Kentucky, the 11.5.
Oh, nice.
All right, here we go. Ooh, that's enough to take the lead. It could be beat, though. It feels like it could be beat. We'll see. Luke's next, our current champ.
I've got some Heaven Hill 7-year-old bottled and bond.
B&B, gotta love that.
Okay. A little bit of a slosh there at the end. That's going to count in the penalties and means I still have the lead. Kerry, you're next.
All right, today I have an Irish whiskey. It's in a grain blend by JJ Corey, JJ Corey.
Okay. Okay, that was cute. That was cute. Not
Lots
enough
of effort.
Lots of twisting, and it seemed like it had a combination lock.
I was afraid I'd spill it all over my computer here. So
That happens.
Did you see all our faces were going towards
Right,
the
we were
screen?
moving forward in anticipation. All right, Becca, you are between me and victory. What do you got?
I have a sample of something. I don't remember what it is. It's our stuff. I just don't
appears to be
remember what.
grapefruit juice, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something. I don't know. It does have a cork on it though, an ill-fitting cork.
Yeah.
And there's some wood
It's
in
not
there.
one of your bottles. It's not. Yeah.
For the record, ill-fitting cork was my favorite 90s hardcore rapper. I love that guy.
Okay.
Loved that guy.
Here's his material, folks. I'm sorry.
There we
Get him
go.
back to the impressions.
I mean, I am
The
about.
impressions are coming back. This is. I'm
I
sorry.
think that's a great.
Phil.
I think that's fantastic. So this is a sample of something. I don't remember what it is,
Okay.
but we'll see if it's good.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm.
Oh,
pretty good.
Oh,
I think it
not
wins.
enough. Not enough. It was crisp.
Oh.
But not enough boom. Not enough boom.
Mm.
Yeah. A lot of hype. A lot of hype there, but not enough boom. So cheers to me. Your show champion.
No, that was mine.
No. All right. We'll take a quick break. Don't ruin Luke's show here. Don't. We got to have a good show for our buddy Luke.
Oh
right.
yeah.
We'll take a quick break as we celebrate my victory. And then when we come back, we're going to talk to Luke about his bourbon journey. We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley of the ABV Network. Let's talk about the people who make this show happen. First up is Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Company founder Andy Lang started distilling as a hobby while serving his country as an elite Green Beret. Andy distilled all over the world during his time in the military and brought this passion back to him in the U.S. when he returned home. A visit to Leatherwood combines Andy Lang's unique distilled spirits and a museum of artifacts from his time serving the U.S. Share a drink with a fallen soldier at their bar where you can grab an acrylic bio off the wall that celebrates the individuals who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect his or her country. They will also ship their distilled spirits directly to you, so check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at neelyfamilydistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Freddie Mills, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Journey.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Journey. That's
Daily.
Yeah.
Redo that, Steve.
Oh yeah, let's redo it. Well, yes, I'll edit that right out. Not.
So you're not going to edit that
You're
out.
not
I'm
going
not
to fucking
gonna edit
edit it
that.
out, Steve.
No, I'm not going to edit it out. It's hilarious.
We're talking to Luke Otero today about his bourbon journey on the Bourbon Daily.
Yes, we are. So, Luke, the first question on these Bourbon Journey shows is, just tell us about your journey, man. What's it about?
Yeah, it's long, and I'm the oldest one on your show, Steve. So, started out with in high school, wild turkey.
Mhm.
That was our go-to, and some 7-Up back then. And when we went to college, it turned out to be Jim Beam White Label.
Okay.
And so that was back in '79, early '80s. And so if White Label, Jim Beam White Label, is just anywhere between 7 and 8 years old back then.
Yeah.
So it was really good stuff. And then fast forward to, I don't know, got married to the War Department, and just started drinking just a little bit of everything that certainly was available and could
Marriage
afford.
drove you to drinking, you're saying?
Yeah, kind of, sort of, but
You got to survive.
It doesn't make her bad people. I'm just,
Yeah.
but it's been a great journey, because the best part of it is like now I would say the last 10, 12 years, because I'm enjoying it more, and I'm enjoying more and more the different expressions that are out there. I think, I've said this before, it's like opening up a big box of Godiva chocolates, and you can pick whatever you want, whatever you're in the mood for. If you want a dark chocolate, or you want a milk chocolate, or a cream, or a nougat, or a nut, or something, you can do that with bourbon and rye, and I'm loving it. So, and then factor into the piece, the last 10 years, we became a distributor of wine and spirits, and that's even been more enlightening and fascinating and fun, all in one.
Yeah.
That's
all new friends and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really cool
Yeah.
stuff.
So
It's all part of the journey.
It's
Yeah,
a good
what do you
part.
guys want to know? Go ahead,
What
Becca.
Nashville-
I have. Oh, there we go again.
Phil, you go first.
You sure?
First? Yeah, you go.
Luke, I always dig talking to you, and I was particularly like talking to people in your role. And I think what the average bourbon drinker, average alcohol drinker doesn't get is that 50 states, and in some cases, multiple things in states, a distributor role is different and has its own different challenges. So what's it like where you guys are? What is the biggest hurdle you face as a distributor with the laws your state tosses at you? Because I'm always amazed what I hear from Texas to Massachusetts to California. So I want to get a distributor's perspective.
Yeah, that's a good question, Phil, because
you hear that, Beka?
New Mexico is a traditional 3-tier state, and there are very protective laws, and they were since Prohibition. That's why New Mexico adopted that set. So and it hasn't changed too much at all, to be honest with you. The most difficult and challenging thing for us as a distributor was getting licensed and getting all the permits in place, because of Prohibition, Phil. We're the most regulated industry in the country. So, I mean, we all had to get fingerprinted. We all had to,
Wow.
It's a process that, they're making sure all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted. And
if that standard was ever held to the guests of the ABV network, I think about 60% of us would be out the window if fingerprinting.
This is true. They're not going to pass the background check. Yeah.
We got one in hiding.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing we did is for a federal agent to come in and
Beka's sleeping.
pick apart something, out of just because they wanted to. So, but that's been the biggest challenge. But once you become that, you learn to work with the system. You learn to work with the other distributors, and we're small potatoes. We're the smallest distributor in New Mexico, but what we have is pretty good. I mean, and in wine and spirits. So we're pretty pleased with that. So.
Now, I know some states have a limit. Did one distributorship have to close before one opened? Is there a limit to how many can operate in the state? Or was it just, if you fill out the endless paperwork correctly, they'll let you start a business?
Yeah,
nice.
Anyone can become a distributor. But if you sign up to be if there's a distillery that wants, or winery that wants to sell in New Mexico, and they sign up with you, you're theirs till death do you part.
Right.
Unless
the old franchise state, unless
the distributor lets them go.
Yeah,
and that means that that product could be passed on to another distributorship if you sell, and they wouldn't have a say in it, right? They could change.
Correct.
Their partnership could be changed without them having any say. So
correct.
It's a crazy business. I didn't know that fingerprinting. That's insane. How few jobs? What percentage of Americans, who aren't in like law enforcement or high government federal work have to be fingerprinted for their job? Yeah, that's crazy.
I guess that you said your daughter was a teacher, right? So doesn't she have to get fingerprinted too?
I don't know what she had to go through to become a teacher, Kerry. That's a whole different world that I'm not part of. So.
My wife is a teacher, and I don't believe she ever had to get fingerprinted.
No, maybe it's California, or maybe I'm just crazy. It's probably I'm probably crazy. So, Luke, what's the most frustrating thing about your job that you wish it could be different so that it would be an easier, like less red tape?
Yeah. So, Kerry, prior to the pandemic, everything was going swimmingly with us. Just, we would put in an order for wine or whiskey, didn't really matter. And we know in 10 to 15 days, we're going to get our shipment. Now, we put that order in, it's taking, I don't know, almost 8 to 10 weeks. And that's the most difficult thing right now for me and for our company, because the product's out there and it's sitting on a dock. It's getting the trucking company to pick it up. And then once they do pick it up, like for instance, we had a shipment of Wilderness Trail coming in about 2 weeks ago, or should have been 2 weeks ago. But then you guys got hit with that ice storm that Beka was talking about. And so that puts the whole transportation system is just in turmoil right now, that I'm frustrated about that. And I wish I could change that like the old days. It was really nice because you can plan accordingly that your sales guys are going out this date, but with product, and boom. But now you can't.
Yeah.
So
I went to Disneyland actually last week kind of for my birthday, kind of not, because, well, my birthday was yesterday. Anyway, I went with my goddaughter for her first trip. And my friends, they're like, we don't see the Mouseketeer ears. Where are the Mouseketeer ears? And we went into all the different hat shops, and they had all the other kind of hats, but not the general Mouseketeer ears. So I went up to the lady at the cash register and I said, do you guys have any of the Mouseketeer ears? She goes, nope, they're out in Long Beach on the boat, still waiting.
Really?
Yeah.
Not a good time to try to get Mouseketeer ears.
Oh, that sucks.
I feel the pain.
Yeah.
Kerry.
Mouseketeer ears, a wilderness trail.
Right?
Yeah.
Global pandemic in a nutshell.
Beka, what do you want to know? You were going to say something before.
I'm going not so distribution-y.
Okay.
I want to know more about Luke, Phil.
Luke's profession is a big part of who Luke is, I thought.
That's fair enough. I want to know what mash bill is it that you go towards? You're talking about like that you like that, it's just a whole box of chocolates. You can go to any different one that you want. But when I go to get a box of chocolates, I'm going for like the good dark chocolates and like something that's not too sweet and like, I don't know, like what do you like to go towards? Are you a high rye? Are you a rye? Are you a wheated? A something, what is it?
Yeah. Like you always get asked, and I know Steve does, and the Kerry and Phil, what is your favorite? And depends on what day it is. But I guess Beka, I'm a high rye guy. I love the Wilderness Trail high rye bourbon. Johnny Drum is high rye. And those two, they never let me down. And,
well, you were out of the gate, Wild Turkey. He was a high rye. So
yeah.
So, I mean, just from your first love was a high rye bourbon. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, but there, like last night, I had an old Bardstown Bourbon Company, Fusion 6 Old Fashioned, and that was so good. And I forget what the mash bill was because it's got three different whiskey. Mm-hmm. But it was certainly good that I poured a really nice, neat one. I did a bottle kill last night.
Nice.
Yeah. So high rye would be my go-to, Beka.
Yeah.
I think that's a great pick.
Yeah. Luke, I've got an interesting one for you because it comes back to me. I always try to make the shows about me, so it's about me. When you're a guy who starts doing what I do, and then you think, well, what mark can you make on the industry? And you think, well, it's going to be I can make podcasts. We made movies, and that's what you're doing, right? That's what you think it's going to be. But then all these other weird things happen. Friendships happen out of it. I have a person on my network who got married to a person she met on the show. Who, would she have ever met that person just in real? No. I mean, as many ways as I'd like to crunch the numbers and be like, I'm really not involved in that. Yeah, I'll always be on that. Long after I'm gone, those two will be together, and that comes out of that. But I also, as I look with your latest relationship, I know that you listen to the show, and you certainly became a Bourbon's Bistro fan, going there and stuff like that. Meeting Jason after hearing about him on the show and all the times I interviewed him and stuff like that. And your latest account is Buzzard's Roost, and it's just. What's your footprint in reality? Yeah, the shows and that's a little part of my footprint, but there's all these other things that come out of what you're doing that maybe you don't initially think about, but yeah, it ends up being a big thing. And I'm proud of the fact that you and I used to go and break bread at Bourbon's Bistro and get to know Jason. And am I involved in that deal between you two? No, absolutely not. But the fact that maybe early on, maybe the first time you ever heard of Jason Bronner was probably through our show, which is pretty neat to me, I think.
Yeah, I agree, Steve. And Lucas actually got to meet Jason, who's now Lucas is running our company now. Mm-hmm. But he met Jason, I want to say last November, and they two got talking about Buzzard's Roost.
Yeah.
And I'd like to take credit for it, but I can't. I got to give that all to Lucas. The only thing I did was through you, Steve, meet Jason, and introduce Jason to Lucas, and then Andrew
Let
Wheatland,
those two talk and do all the business stuff. Yeah.
and then the Judy their partners, and so lo and behold, Lucas basically put this deal together, and now we're repping Buzzard's Roost, and that was part of on that same truck with Wilderness Trail, Phil.
It's all stuck.
Buzzard's Roost.
It's all stuck
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's in our warehouse now, and they're starting to roll it out, and but those are things that man, without meeting Steve and going meeting Jason, this would have turned out. And then one of these days I hope to get down to see Beka and Royce, because we want to talk to them.
Right. You want to get them.
But
Yeah.
you know, and we will, Beka. I'll get down there soon, but
Cincinnati, 30 minminutes away.
Right.
Kerry's booking a flight right now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let you know, she's getting here a lot sooner.
Want to get away? She's just fine. Yeah.
Want to get away? Rates on Southwest Airlines.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's exciting. The things that happen in the industry and stuff like that. And it's still so important. It's a small enough industry where relationships absolutely still matter. And I think that's a cool thing that comes out of this.
It's
and that's why we try
really
to do
the
things.
coolest part about the industry, I think.
I
is
Agreed.
all the
Agreed. Completely.
relationships.
The
Yeah,
cool
the
people in Bourbon.
and it really is a neat, special industry. I love it, and I'm proud to be part of it. And yeah, it's a really cool thing. So
Yeah, I call Phil probably every time I know someone is going into Kentucky from New Mexico, and I'll call Phil and say,
what I'm happy about now
And
is he has a
And I
company that does
love
this.
giving the feedback. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, because I get all those calls, I decided I
Right.
should start a business.
So now he can officially help you and do whatever it is you need, whether it's just a whiskey tasting,
That's
whether
right.
it's a tour for just a person that's coming in town, a friend that's coming from New Mexico, or if you got a whole group, he can he's certainly adept at that. So that's a cool thing that Phil's got going on. So
that for me personally, set aside our distribution business. If we hadn't been in it, I would have. A friend of mine represents the Kentucky Distillers Association, and he invited me to go to the Bourbon Affair. And that's when I first met Steve.
Yep.
The Kentucky Bourbon Affair. And it has just blossomed, and it continues. It's like a flower that doesn't never wilt. It just keeps blooming. And that's the great part about this industry and anyone who's involved with it. And we're pretty fortunate to feel that we got a little bit of a role in New Mexico with a big connection back to Kentucky about it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of Kentucky, you're welcome to the Bluegrass State anytime you please.
And anytime you come here, if you come to our place, we've got an extra bedroom.
There you go.
You and your wife can stay with us. You extended once to me to come down and go to the Hot Air Balloon Festival. You are very welcome to come and stay at our house.
There you go.
Just be careful of that stairway with no banister, Luke.
Don't worry, all the bedrooms are downstairs.
There you go.
You'll be fine, and you can partake in living room bourbon.
Yes.
Unless he's a sleepwalker.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Then there could be an issue.
Yeah,
Just
that-
lock
I'm always
it down.
thinking.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking.
Yeah, thank
All
you,
right.
Phil.
We'll
Good
wrap
start,
this
Kevin.
one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Kerry, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on my websites, which is barrelroomchronicles.com, or my company website, firstreelentertainment.com. You can find me on Instagram at Whiskey Swillin' Lady or at First Reel Ent, or on Twitter at Spirits Whiskey, or on TikTok at First Reel Entertainment.
All right, Phil.
I'm a relatively easy guy to find. I say the witty things on Twitter at Derby City Phil, and I post the beautiful photos on Instagram at
Questionable.
Derby City Phil. And as Steve said, I do bourbon adventures for unique, fun,
He does.
interesting experiences. I'll show
That's
you things
legit.
you've never seen.
Yeah.
We'll have a blast. PhilTalksWhiskey.com. Phil, that's me talking. That's moving your mouth. Whiskey. It's what we all enjoy.
I have no doubt he's great at that. Phil is he's the best for sure.
We have fun. We have fun.
All right. Luke, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find us on Instagram at Santa Fe Boutique Wines, and then Luke Otero at SantaFeBoutiqueWines.com.
All right, Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K no C's. You can also find me tumbling down my stairs to my desk in my own house.
Huh. I had to deliver something. Oh, remember I had to deliver the remote one time when I was staying there. You guys told me to bring the remote up. I know they sleep nude and it's just a big open area up there, but they have a cat door. So I just reached my hand through the cat door and dropped the remote. I didn't fucking go. I didn't open the door. I didn't.
Well,
the
this is a
remote
whole-
just goes right through the
This is,
door.
this is a whole show entirely. That's
Oh yeah, I wanted no part of that. I wanted no part of that.
Gotta have
show.
cat doors. If you've got a cat and you like to have doors closed or locked, you got to have a cat door so he can get in and out. He can't feel like he's locked out from the world.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
I guarantee you, I would have seen nudity there. It would have been Royce.
For sure.
There's
Yeah.
Royce,
It would have been Royce full frontal.
Yeah, I didn't need that. I just dropped the remote and ran right down no. It didn't matter. There was no banister or anything. I ran down there, no problem. I was terrified of what I'd see. If you're scared enough, you can pull it together where you don't need it. I can assure you.
It's like the stories of the 80-year-old woman who lifts the couch out of her house when it's on fire because she's got the adrenaline pumping. That's what you had going.
Right. I didn't want to see.
Away from naked people.
I didn't want to see. So yeah.
Steve just had his eyes closed, running up and down the stairs, made it alive.
Boom.
Yeah, he texts me. Royce says, "I need that remote, man." Oh, good. Oh, good. All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. And maybe if you're good, I'll tell you guys another remote control story tomorrow. So
more than one?
I've got two good remote control stories. So yeah. Becca's probably heard it recently because Royce has been talking about it a lot, the famous Napolitano remote control story. So
I'm not sure I know this one.
you don't know that one. Oh, all right. Well, I'll tell it on the next show. All right.
Sure, I want to know.
Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right. Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Good night.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.